This lesson is about DNA profiling and how to read biological evidence the way the memorandum does. By the end, you'll be able to compare band positions, include or exclude a suspect, reason through a paternity case, and write conclusions that stay inside the evidence. Start here. Two lanes of DNA bands sit side by side. How do you decide they match? Look at the figure. Vertical lanes, and dark bands sitting at different heights in each lane. That is a DNA profile, also called a DNA fingerprint. It is not a karyotype, and it is not a replication diagram. Each lane belongs to one sample or one person. So first, identify the owner. Then the rule that decides a match: two bands match when they occur at the same corresponding position. Same height, same line. Not color, and not the number of bands. Now the Scratchpad asks the same three things. Which representation is this? What decides whether two bands match? And correct this claim: the profile shows chromosome pairs. Try it. The figure is a DNA profile. Bands match when they occur at the same corresponding position. And the profile shows bands from DNA samples or individuals, not homologous chromosome pairs. Now compare. The reference lane is on the left, and two candidate lanes beside it. Read across at one height at a time. Profile A has a band at every corresponding position of the reference. The lanes line up completely. Profile B has one band sitting at a different height. One mismatching position is enough to say, not the same profile. Which profile matches the reference? Look at the positions. Profile A matches, because its bands occur at the same corresponding positions as the reference. That exact phrase is the mark-bearing line, same corresponding positions. Forensic comparison runs the same rule against a crime scene sample. Check each suspect lane at every corresponding position. Suspect 1 has bands at every position of the scene sample, so suspect 1 is included. Suspects 2 and 3 each have a band that does not correspond, so they are excluded. One mismatch excludes. And the qualification the exam loves: a matching profile supports that the sample may have come from suspect 1, but the DNA evidence alone does not prove guilt. The Scratchpad runs the case. Which suspect matches the scene sample? Suspect 1. Does the match prove guilt? No. Which suspects are excluded? Suspects 2 and 3. And the written reason: suspect 1 matches because the bands occur at the same corresponding positions, but the DNA evidence alone does not prove guilt. Suspects 2 and 3 are excluded because their bands do not all occur at the same corresponding positions as the crime scene sample. Include, exclude, qualify. That is the full 3-mark answer. Paternity is a subtraction. First, assign the mother's bands. Every child band at a maternal position came from the mother. Mark those. Now look at the child bands that are not accounted for by the mother. Those must come from the father. Check each alleged father against those remaining positions. Male 1 contains every remaining child band position. Male 2 has a band at the wrong height. So male 1 is the possible biological father, and male 2 is excluded. The Scratchpad asks for the same reasoning. Which alleged father accounts for all the non-maternal child bands? Male 1. Which must be excluded? Male 2. And the visible reason: all child bands not inherited from the mother occur at corresponding positions in male 1. Mother first, then the remaining bands, then the father. That order carries the marks. Why is the mother in the profile at all? Because Helene does the subtraction for you. Her profile identifies which child bands were inherited from the mother. That is idea 1. Then the remaining child bands can be compared with the alleged fathers. That is idea 2. 2 marks, 2 independent ideas, identify the maternal bands, then isolate the rest for the paternal comparison. Now write it. The mother's profile identifies the bands inherited from the mother. And the child's remaining bands can then be compared with the alleged fathers. 2 sentences, 2 ideas, 2 marks. Not every profile is complete. Look at the partial sample, the lower part is missing, masked or unresolved. The visible bands do not conflict with candidate A. So candidate A cannot be excluded. But the missing region means the available bands are insufficient for a conclusive identification. The strongest justified conclusion is exactly that, candidate A cannot be excluded, but the profile is not conclusive. What is the strongest justified conclusion here? Candidate A cannot be excluded, but the profile is not conclusive. Why? The lower part of the sample profile is missing, so the available bands are insufficient for a conclusive identification. Certainty must match the profile. A partial profile can exclude a mismatch, but it cannot confirm. Now the words that earn the marks. 1 mark items want the smallest scientific phrase. The technique is DNA profiling. 1 valid use, forensic identification, or paternity and biological relationship testing. 1 valid limitation, the sample may be contaminated, planted, mixed or incomplete. The 2-mark explanation needs the relationship. A matching profile supports that the sample may have come from the person, but it does not independently prove that the person committed the crime. And cannot exclude means, the visible evidence does not conflict with the candidate, but the candidate has not been conclusively identified. Fill them in the Scratchpad. Technique, DNA profiling. Use, forensic identification, or paternity and biological relationship testing. Limitation, the sample may be contaminated, planted, mixed or incomplete. The match versus guilt explanation, a matching profile supports that the sample may have come from the person, but it does not independently prove the crime. And cannot exclude, the evidence does not conflict with the candidate, but the candidate is not conclusively identified. Smallest sufficient words, every time. A fresh profile asks the same 4 things. Which candidate matches? Read every position first. Candidate A has bands at every corresponding position of the evidence sample. The observable reason is that phrase again, same corresponding positions. Then qualify. A matching sample does not independently prove guilt, and evidence may be contaminated, planted or mishandled. And never use band count as the reason. Profiles can have the same number of bands at different positions, so equal counts alone do not establish a match. Now the mastery case. Which candidate matches? Candidate A. The observable reason, the bands occur at the same corresponding positions as the evidence sample. 1 limitation, a matching sample does not independently prove guilt, and evidence may be contaminated, planted or mishandled. And why equal band counts are not enough, profiles can contain the same number of bands at different positions, so band count alone does not establish a match. 4 items, for evidence rules. You can now read a DNA profile the way the memo does, identify the lane owners, compare band positions, account for every child band through both parents, and qualify incomplete evidence. Open the Scratchpad again without the teaching, and argue the next profile from start to finish. Position decides a match. A match supports a source. It does not prove guilt.